Well, hello friends. Welcome back for another video and walkthrough for layout. I'm Carrie and I appreciate you stopping by and watching my videos. Thank you so much. Um, Today I have some pictures and these go back to, I don't know, a couple months ago. My friend and I have quarterly date nights with our husbands. That's a tradition that we've started. So we were in a little small town near us that they are bringing back, and it's a cute little town. It's the town of Woodruff in South Carolina. So if you haven't been to their main street, it's really quaint, and they always dress it up for the different seasons. So I'm going to do a sequential order of my husband and I getting ready to go, in our car driving there. And then this is where we had dinner at Claudio's, and then we had ice cream, and then this is a group shot. So I don't have a ton of pictures from this date night, but there's some predominant colors in here. It's pretty tonal as far as blues, naturals, a little bit of red in the shirt, and then, the signs. So what I decided to do was to walk you through one of these simple page kits. I've done these before on my channel as a video, but I'll tell you, they are just a great way to get things done. I'll walk through that as we do it. This is simple page kit number 2. So according to how Creative Memories releases them, this would have been February. But you know what? There's some hearts on it, but it's not predominantly February. And so I just kind of, unless it's Halloween or Christmas, I like to mix them up and use them for my photos how I see fit. And so look at the colors in here. So, you got some reds, the different shades of blue. And so it goes perfectly with this date night. And then on the page kit, if you're not familiar with these, they show you what color cardstock goes with this particular page kit. And then they have a cut apart sheet. So they show you how to lay it out and then what the finished sheet should look like, the finished layout. So I'm going to walk you through it. Now I have already matted my photos with a single mat so far. I am going to double mat it. So anyway, so I went with this for date night, and because the colors work. And so I'm just going to show you how to cut this apart. All right. And this cut apart sheet has some, I don't know if you can see it, but there are some nice, speckled, color in there, like paint spatter. And then this one is like a strie, but it skips. All right. So that's what that is. Now on the back, they have a cutting guide, and I've shown this a little bit, but I haven't actually cut some of this before. So we're going to go ahead and cut it and get this layout going. So these page kits that Creative Memories has come out with, I think are genius. If you are trying to get caught up and you want to just do one layout a month, you can do that. If you're new to scrapbooking and you're not really sure what to do, these page kits are wonderful because the cutting guides are all there. You don't have to think about it. You can just come in, cut, and then as you become more seasoned as a scrapbooker, you can change the layout. And I am going to alter this a little bit today, and I'll show you what I mean by that. All right, so we have followed the cutting guide. I am going to have a piece left over, but I am going to utilize this in a different way. So this piece here, if you are following along with other papers, this is a 2-inch, okay? That's a 2-inch piece, 2x12. This is 4, because we just cut that. This can be mats for photos. So this is a 4-inch piece, 4x12. And then these are all 4x6, all right? So our cutting is done. It's that simple. All right, now if you look at the layout, they have excuse me, room for 6 photos. All right, 3 in vertical orientations that are 3.5 by 5.5. They give you that size right there, 3.5 by 5.5, and then 3.5 by 3.5 photos. All right, some square orientation ones. I am double matting these to give some dimension and to lift my photos. and then to fit the mat, so I don't have such a huge mat. All right, so I am going to get some of this out of the way and get these mats on. So you can see I have a white mat. I have inked the edges with the Memento Inks Summer Sky, which goes with their Songbird and one other color. But anyway, that's what those go with. Hopefully these tape runners don't run out. So we're just gonna get these matted. I'm just kind of showing you how this goes along. When it comes to putting the photos down, I will pause this so you don't have to, you know, watch me put, you know, the whole layout down. So I'm just gonna mat these few. Now I did this one in the Songbird cardstock just to set it apart. And you can see it goes very well when you're mixing it. I was thinking about bringing in red, but there's enough red in the embellishments that I don't need to bring in red cardstock. So I am not going to do that. I'm just centering the photos. Now I've inked the white like I told you so that it, you know, stands out a little bit and just blends nicely. And I like the double matte. It helps the pictures to stand out a little more. It's a little more work. You don't have to do it. You don't even have to mat your photos. You could use these papers differently if you wanted to. So this collection goes with Your Own Way, but you could also use it with last year's collection, Noteworthy Days. It would also work with that. All right, so here is how it's going to be laid out. All right, and I'm going to keep it pretty even across the way, and I might pull those back together. And then, all right, so in the layout, they show this stack of photos here. I have a 6x4. I have to remember how these orientations go. 4x6, 6x4. So I will do another piece up here that will be a journal box. I'll make it a little smaller. So that is how I will tie all that in. So, all right, let me get these photos put down. Or actually, you know what? Before I do that, let's hold off on that right now. They have a way of laying this out. If you see it, they have this rickrack sticker coming across, and it comes right across the blue. So let me get this 2-inch blue piece put down over here so that we have that all set. Now, if you look, it looks like it's about 1 inch in. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go 1 inch in. And this is where it's good to use your repositionable adhesive, because it just helps with if you need to adjust and move things around. Well, adjust and move, that's kind of all the same thing, isn't it? All right, so I've got that lined up. Go there. The nice thing is, if you get some on there, you can rub it all off. You don't have to worry about that. Oh, here, let's lay flat. There we go. Okay, I'm just gonna rub off what got stuck on the paper. There's a little bit there. Okay, so I've got that piece down. So now I'm gonna come in with the stickers, and here's the sticker sheet. All right, so I'm just gonna go across. Now, sorry for all the moving around. If you see this, all right, that rickrack is sitting a little bit above, well, actually, yeah, just a little bit above this. I'm going to have it kiss this beige section here. That is what we're going to do. I'm not going to have it overlap it. I'm just going to have it kiss it, because that looks to be about what it's doing. All right, so we're just going to do that and just take our time going along. There we go. That way it just sits right on top of the beige. And then we'll come across here, and we should use this entire sheet of stickers today. So that is the plan. All right, so let's come over here. And I like the colors on this page, this layout, the blues. I'm a blue girl. I like the blues. And I do like how they've done the ink spattering up on top. I think that looks nice. All right, so now we're going to come in with our photos, and we're just going to follow the sketch. I'll put that right there. Other than this 6x4 here. All right, so let me get that straight. Now I'm going to go ahead and get these photos laid down, and then I'll be right back. All right, we are back. The photos are down. I have spaced these about a ½ inch over from the edge, and they're up about a quarter of an inch from the base here. So that is what I have done. Okay, so there we go. All right, well, so let's move along. And all right, so let's start doing some embellishing. So what I was saying is that these collections are great if you're busy and don't have a ton of time to scrapbook, and you just want to get things done. I'm going to come up about, I'm going to come down an inch from the top of the layout over here. So I'm a little bit above the photos, but it's still all going to tie in. There we go. Okay, so I'm about inch up. And then this one, this small piece, if you see it here, comes out from that. I'm going to have it come out over here, or have it come out from, I may have it come out from a journal box that I'm going to do here. So let me cut a little journal box. I'm going to do a 3x4. This is 4 inches wide. I'm just going to cut it at 3. It doesn't need to be huge. There's not a lot to journal. That, other than that, this is something that we enjoy doing together as friends, and you know, that we like to go to a different place each time. This time we went to Woodruff, and that's where we ate. So I'm just going to tack this down. Oops, we'll use this. But yeah, if you're busy and you don't have a ton of time, sorry, I think I just scratched that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink the edge of this. And I've demonstrated this before. This is one of the Crab Memories teardrops. And I just go right along the edge because I don't want it to look like, I don't want to do a grunge look. I don't want it to get messy. I just want to just kiss these edges just to kind of seal off that white core of the paper and have that stand out. All right, so we're just going to put this right in here and just kind of have them about on the same. All right, so that comes up a little bit, brings some height. And also we're bringing this paper over to this side, okay? Now you can save this and put this in with your own way collection and use that for other things. All right, so you see how they have this little banner piece down here, but I'm gonna put it up here. And I might actually, well, I don't want it, let's see. Where do I want it? Maybe I do want it down in here. All right, so we're going to be covering up some of it for sure. All right, so we'll just put it right there and have it come out towards the edge of the paper. All right, and we'll just do this embellishment a little different. All right, so we have got that down. Probably should have brought that down a little bit, but all right, we're just going to go with it. All right, so you can see how this is starting to come together. They'll eventually, I'll put a white piece of cardstock on here. All right, so here are the rest of the stickers. All right, so we have Everyday Wonder and the Simple Things. So we're going to put Everyday Wonder. We're just going to follow this because I want you to see how quickly and easily this comes together. Mind you, I am talking through it, so it is taking a little bit longer. But this is going to wrap around these photos. All right, and they have this piece here that comes down over here, and it will have some of these stickers, the leaves, so you can see it has 1, 2, 3 leaves. All right, so we're gonna, I think they all are the same. I've got one. I'll cut a few that are the same. All right, so we're just gonna put this together and see how we do. All right, here we go. I think I want to bring this over a little bit like this because I like things to touch and connect with things on the page. And we're still gonna frame it. We're still gonna frame the photo. I'm still gonna bring this over this way. We'll get another one. a little smaller one. And this is going to go a little bit back towards the side of the photo. I want those connecting a little bit. Okay, so we've got those down. All right, you see how that's taking shape. Then we have a longer one that comes down this way. This is where it might work to bring in your tool. And this kind of comes down over here. But do you see how that's touching the photo and just kind of bringing everything together? And then they sprinkled some hearts. So we are going to do the same thing. And let's see, we'll put this one up here like they have to bring some red around. And then they've got one of the little flowers, like this one here with the leaf. All right, I don't always like things just floating around, so I am going to bring that in here and kind of break through some of these visible lines. I do like to do that. Okay, and then we have some sprinkled things coming down. And I do like how it comes down the side of the photo and brings it all together. We've got a little flower in here. And you can use your tool to help with this. And then they've got this heart is what it looks like. All right, so we'll bring that down in here. All right, so that just kind of comes down the side. All right, so that side is done. So we'll come over here. So what am I gonna do now that I don't have enough room there? Well, I have real estate here, so I am going to tie it into connecting all of this. All right, so that's what I'm gonna do. And I think I might actually have this come in behind here. All right, and then they have this big leaf kind of coming up this way. You can see it here. They're going off a little bit this way, so that's what we'll do. And then we've got a smaller one, so we'll come in this way, and then that ties in. There we go. All right, so you see how that just kind of brings everything together. And then we've got our hearts to sprinkle around. I am going to want to use one on my, I could probably just use that small one. But let's bring that in down here. And I think I want to save this medium-sized one for my journal box. So it will sit on the journal box once I put that white piece of paper on. All right, and then these will just get sprinkled around a little bit. So we'll kind of come up this way so it will tie into that one there. All right, so we'll do that. And then that last one that I just put back on, that will come on here once I put my white cardstock on. So it will just kind of be floating like that. And then we'll just bring this down in here. Okay, which they've kind of done anyway. All right, so there you go. I don't know if you use these simple page kits and maybe you're not a Creative Memories scrapbooker, and that's fine. This is just a great way to show how to do a tonal layout, because that is what this is. It's a very tonal layout using navy, a light blue, a medium tone blue, and then some red just to bring some contrast. But look at how easily this came together. And I was talking through it. And I did change it, but you see how we have our balance here. I have the light paper over here, and then they also brought over here. It was going to be another column, but I'm creating the look of a column by just putting this journal box up a little bit higher. And then I've got these all mad the same, and this one's in cardstock. So similar look, just changing it to suit my photos. So let me know what you think. How do you like these collections, these simple page kits? I think they are wonderful for, one, like I said, a beginner scrapbooker, and then two, if you're busy and just want to get things done and you're just not sure how to do it. And then you can always change it up as you become more seasoned. But I'll show you how this all turned out. So isn't that nice with the banner coming across to tie everything in? And then I did change this. Instead of having this over here, I wanted to cluster it in. Just need to press it down a little bit more. But cluster it in with the photos to tie it all in together. Then we've got the rickrack to bring in some of that navy. Okay, and then over here, all right, we got the smaller one, and then this will be the journal box. Sorry about my voice. And then here's a little banner again. But I moved that title over here to just kind of create a little cluster that, again, somewhat wraps around the photo and ties it all together. But I like how it, this layout pulls in the colors in the building, the colors in our clothes, and it's a nice cohesive look. All right, well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't liked and subscribed to my channel, please do so. It helps my videos to get out there. And let me know what you think of these page kits and how this one came together, even with some of the changes. Also, if you are a Creative Memories purchaser and you're looking for an advisor, I would love to be your advisor. But beyond that, go and check out some of the new products. And then also, they have a sales section. And I don't know if it's still available, but they had the old 12-inch paper trimmer, which I think is perfectly fine. I have not gotten the new one yet. And it was on sale for $18. So if they are still available, go get that. There's, I like that they have a sales section now where things are marked down. So check it for punches, all of that. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend ahead. I hope you get time to scrapbook and tell your story. That's so important. All right, I will see you next week. Bye-bye.